Alrighty, it's time for
A review!
golly gosh, welcome to this review of Outward. Just played it on the stream live now, and we're at the point where it's time to review it here. Normally I usually get my thoughts together. I'm just gonna do this one, you know, on the fly. Blue Fang is awake, just so you know. We played for 4 hours. Blue Fang is awake. If you're watching this review of Outward, Blue Fang is awake, just so you know. Do I have to wake up tomorrow? No. Good. What do you think of the game? Let us know in the chat. So, first thoughts. It's a lot like Skyrim, in a way, where you're kind of choosing your way through this experience. But it's like Skyrim Light. It's like Skyrim 10%. In that aspect. I mean, Skyrim, if you want to be a spellcaster, go be a spellcaster. If you want to, you know, use a weapon, go use that weapon. In this one, they hand you ability, my one placement there, but then you pick up any other type of weapon, and boom, no compatible weapon or ammunition equipped for that ability. Great, so you just got an ability for nothing. So now if I don't find a sword, I have an ability that's useless, you know? So get ready to do left clicks. So let's talk about what I like about the game. Game is visually looks really nice. It does look really nice. It's definitely, I would say it's in the realm of Skyrim, of what Skyrim was maybe like a few years ago. I think Skyrim after, that's at the end of the stream. I'm going to try that out. You know, after Skyrim did their full HD upgrades, I think Skyrim now looks a lot better, you know, than this game does. So this is like Skyrim medium. The one funny thing, though, I will say, is they give you this option here. If you go in here, you could get potato view. And I'm not gonna lie, it's almost worth playing the game in potato view, because it looks like a PlayStation game then. You know, it is this, like, I think this is pretty much what they first made this game to look like, you know, and then they add like the better textures and stuff over time. But it's so funny that they name it potato and everything, and you know, let you rock and roll with it like that. You know, I would definitely play this whole game like this if, you know, possible. Like, I definitely would. But let's switch it back though. Ultra. So now we'll see the both ends of the spectrum here. Pardon any freezing, I am recording, live streaming, and loading the game at the same time. So this game will run on low-end systems, high-end systems. This game's definitely set to run on pretty much anything. The lighting's pretty good, as you can see, with the little fireflies flying around. But I will say, nothing too special as per textures here. I mean, you look at the stairs, just basic kind of stairs. Look at the edges of them. I mean, we've got like arms of the what you'd grab on to walk up, just going into the ground, look kind of like, you know, kind of bad. Fireflies? What? Fireflies. Oh, is that what you meant? You know, it gets this weird kind of like checkerboarding kind of blur to it sometimes when you're moving around. Right now, it's definitely not looking the best it can, just because I am recording live streaming, like I said. So, you know, we can't take it fully, but this is pretty much what the game looks like in max graphics here, 60 frames a second, even though I'm recording in 30. So not the most amazing looking, you know. It's definitely not the most high-end game, but I don't feel this is a AAA game at all. If we even look into... So let's look at the store page here. I think it was $40 that I paid for this game. Yeah, $40 right now. This isn't a AAA game, you know. I think it's a rather reasonable cost for what we have here. So this company made Metro, really. So this is the same company that made Metro Exodus. Why didn't they release this on the Epic Store then? Did they lose a lot of money off of Metro? Because didn't they release this only on Epic at first? What else did they make? Agents of Mayhem, really? That was like, didn't that game flop or something? Operation against shadowy supervillain organization known as Legion. Okay. And then Dead Island. Okay. So, I mean, this company's been around. They've been making quite a few things, huh? Homefront, The Revolution. Nothing that I feel like I've ever... Well, Saints Row did okay. Nothing that's sticking out to me as being like, oh my goodness, they made that? Like, names that I know for sure. Saints Row 2? Okay. Now that's a name I remember well. But still, not a company, like, games that I know the names of, but probably not for the greatest of reasons. You know? Yeah, mostly negative here, recent reviews. So, yeah, I mean, what you kind of are getting here, I think, is what you kind of expect from a company like this. It's definitely not a $60 game here. You know, the faces are kind of like, they don't really move when they talk. Like, it is very Skyrim-esque where you're talking to, you know, NPCs that aren't moving or really doing anything, you know. And my biggest gripe with this game is if I go up and talk to someone, quite often, what they'll say is going to be different than what you see, you know.
Well met, friend.
See? Welcome to City of Monsoon, home of Lot. But even worse than that, sometimes they will read, like, half of the message and then just stop after, like, the first sentence or two. You know? It's like, why did your voiceover actor, why did you pay someone to voice over a part, but then they don't say the whole thing? That part of it doesn't make sense to me in this game at all, and I find it very bothersome in the experience. I mean, this is supposed to be a world you're supposed to get immersed into, you know, and when the NPCs are talking, it just, you know, they'll say a sentence and then just call it a day. Be like, all right, job's done. Finished my sentence. Now just gonna go, you know, go on with my life now. Yep. Sentence done. You know, like, why not just, like, and quite often, I find that the things they aren't saying are things that would be quite interesting to know, you know? Was this someone from Assassin's Creed there? I'm trying to walk around, but I know my processor's getting, like, maxed out from the recording and everything. But I'm trying to find someone to talk to see if I can just, like, show it live here what it's like.
Is there something you need?
The rarest ingredients have never been so easy to obtain. See yourself. I mean, this is very minimal. Like, these are things like an actual quest when someone's actually saying something that pertains to the story or the quest you're about to go and do. Like, actual information about your quest of where to go won't be said verbally, but they'll just stick to the first sentence with a voiceover and then call it a day. You know, but like in this, why couldn't the information screen say what he just said? Why? Why is this something different? Like, you know, so, like, even this on a minimal side, where this is just a store NPC, really doesn't matter what they say, but when it comes down to main story quests and everything, it's just a question, but why? You know, that's where my curiosity is. These things are supposed to be immersive. If the NPCs that you're talking to as per your quests aren't going to say what your screen's putting out, and your screen's putting out a way better story than what they're saying, I mean, from the very start of the game, the first thing you're introduced to, I mean, no spoilers, first thing you're introduced to, you know, is a situation and people are talking, and it's quite an enthralling start of, like, you know, the situation that your character's in, and, you know, what life is like, and, you know, the things expected of you, and, you know, it's kind of a dark situation too, what even happens. Like, the story here is very intriguing, but, you know, people would say something like, you know, pay up or else, but then the text in it is gonna say, you know, you have not paid your part for 4 months. You haven't worked with anyone in the community. You haven't done this and that. Like, you could see, like, the text there has so much more vibrance to it. Instead, the voiceover is just saying pay up or else. So if you don't actually read the stuff, you won't realize, like, your character's been in this situation for a while, you know. And also, I mean, this is the way life is in this city, this town, this everything, and your character's not holding up their side of the bargain, you know. There's just so much depth to it that is just missing. Thank you, Nova, for the host, and much appreciated. Hope your stream went well. Hope you enjoyed Apex Legends. We're doing a review here. If you've played Outward, or anyone from Nova's channel, if you've played Outward, let us know what you think about this game there in the chat. So really, like, it just takes you out of the RPG aspect of it. It takes you out of the whole situation, the whole experience of the game, and then makes you kind of not care about the story. So that's the story. That's everything, you know. Have a good stream. Thank you. Thank you for the host there, Nova. If you've played this game, let us know in the chat there. We're doing a live review. I'm going to post this onto YouTube. Let us know in the chat what you think. And if you're sticking around, we're going to play some Fortnite after this if you want to join in or whatnot. So that's the story. That's the visuals. That is kind of some of, like, the blah parts. That's some of the glitches, too, of, like, the look of it, the blurriness sometimes. Now let's get on to the experience of playing all the other stuff. So you kind of get thrown into this world, kind of get thrown into the story, you kind of get thrown into what this world is with very little explanation on how to play, what to do, where to go and do it. Like, there is a tutorial I found out, but I heard it really doesn't help that much. But honestly, I go with these reviews, it's live. I go through the playthrough experience live, and I do it that way to experience, you know, the fresh experience of, if I'm playing this game, what is my experience like, and this is what I experienced. So as a general gamer, this might be a situation that happens to other people, and that's what I'm trying to find out. I'm not trying to get the most procured, you know, situation and whatnot, just sharing my live thoughts and everything and live experiences. So as per my live experience, I didn't see tutorial. I just saw a new game, and I'm not looking around everywhere to see what's there. First thing I look at is options to go. I had to resize the screen. It wasn't set to full screen or even borderless full screen. It was set to, like, a little box on the screen. So it's like, you know, first thing I'm looking at was options. So then after dealing with, like, getting it to be full screen, you know, and have the right, you know, settings and everything, then I'm just like, let's just play the game. Come on, let's go. You know, like, the last thing you need to do is be doing settings before you're playing the game. It's kind of a little bit like, you know. So then on to the playing. So nothing is explained to you, really, if you just do new game. If you do tutorial, you probably learn quite a bit, but nothing's explained to you if you just do new game. So it's a little bit frustrating, you know, especially if you're running into a situation where you don't know what to do. You don't know how to do it. You don't know where to go, what to do, how to do anything. I could leave this conversation, actually. There we go. Could leave that conversation. Let's go back over here, because it's more beautiful, I feels. I fealties. You know, and as per fighting is quite difficult in this. This game, you know, this game is definitely for the type of people that like those hard games, that, like, take a lot to figure out how to play it, like Dark Souls. You know, this game is it's like a Dark Souls version of Skyrim. Wow, the fireflies actually wore off. I guess because the sun's coming up. Fireflies that finally wore off. You know, so if you like a grind and, like, you know, a game that you're going to have to figure out, like, over time, like, this game will let you die infinitely. You know, you're going to be dying a lot. When I first walked out, I didn't understand the whole lock-on, like, you have to lock on to targets to be able to battle them. Or you could do it free with your weapons if you want, but good luck. You know, you're going to really need to skill it, you know. So it's like the game, there's a lot in it. There's a lot to it. So when you go out into the actual world and you're doing things, and it has that level of just, you know, absolutely no forgiveness, it's so rough once you start playing, you know. And then with the whole losing the storyline, because, you know, you've got, you know. All right, night, Joao Arena. Thank you so much for stopping by. Joao brought good vibes to the channel tonight. Golly gosh. I wish I could wake up in a new life. Kelly, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great? You know, so you're going to die a lot in this game because, you know, you get into the fights and then you get killed in, like, a few hits by the enemy, and you really don't know what you're doing. Pretty much the first weapon I picked up that was better than my sword then wasn't working with my one ability, and I didn't realize it. But why give me that one ability if I'm never going to use it now? Because every weapon I was picking up past that was not a sword, you know? So why have an ability? Like, it's just... the polish isn't here, you know? The polish is missing greatly here, you know? It's just not, in a way, kind of finished, in my opinion. It's made extra hard for the reason of being hard and, you know, making the world feel full by having all this extra stuff. But in my opinion, you know, and this is just my opinion, I'm sure there's people out there like Coley's probably gonna say, says you say you don't understand, you know, in my taste of games, I'd rather have a more refined experience, a more finished experience as per that. You know, I mean, this game is vibrant. There's a lot to it. You know, I'm sure getting these abilities over time, this game is going to feel more and more full and more kind of, I don't want to say gratuitous, but like, you know, more and more fulfilling. I think that's a better term for it. You know, as per the things you're going to do and unlock. And, you know, in future reviews I'm going to make for this game, since I do a review for every time I do a playthrough. So this is just my day one thoughts and feelings and experiences of what I'm thinking right now on day one of playing the game. You know, is that the experience just isn't fully finished yet. You know, but for a $40 game, I'm not expecting much more than what is here so far. I think for a $40 game, there is quite a bit of voiceover. I mean, they could have done none, but there's some, you know. Even though I do feel it takes away from the experience when the real, you know, good parts of the story are lost because the voiceover doesn't say it, you know, or maybe says it in a different way and stuff, you know. To me, it takes away from the story, but it's a lot more than what you'd expect for like a $40 game. I expect no voiceovers for a $40 game, you know. So you kind of see how where the voiceovers, they cost a lot of money to have voice actors come in, do these lines and everything. It costs a lot of money for someone who's just recording a voice, whereas usually games will opt to not pay that part so that they can make the game and aspects of the game better, like maybe, you know, character models better, maybe more styles of faces, and, you know, all the things that are in the game side, you know, they'll put that money into that instead so they can have more game and whatnot, you know. I mean, I think this game is severely lacking with the fact that, you know, even if you do new game instead of doing tutorial, which I didn't even see when I started the game, you know, it just doesn't explain, doesn't greet you. I think games need to greet you when you first enter the game. I think that a greeting is what starts your journey off and what gives you the taste of what the experience is going to be. Whereas with this game, I think it gives you a solid taste of what the experience is going to be, and it's figure it out for yourself. And good luck. You know, earn this is, I think, the initial taste of what this game tells you. You're going to have to earn this. You're going to have to be willing to put in the time of talking to every NPC. You're going to have to be willing to put in the time of, you know, really looking through your menus and learning about everything, and, you know, and then learning how to survive too. I mean, there's survivor aspects to this where you got to eat and drink and, you know, make sure your character's staying alive and wear the right clothes in an area and everything, you know. But it does seem to me quite often, though, in the $40 range of games, quite often they seem to like to use this, you know, hunger, you know, starvation kind of mechanic, or like, you know, dehydration kind of mechanic where it's like, oh, you're gonna have to survive off the world, to kind of just give you like a world aspect. But when it's like, why not go the Skyrim route? I mean, it's worked for Bethesda for how long now? What, 2011? I think that came out 2011, 2012 came out, and they've just re-released it on everything that has a screen and a processor, you know, and just made tons of money off of it. Like, give a good story. You know, make the story great, and, you know, mediocre fighting is all you need. And in this one, the fighting is mediocre, so it has that. So it does fulfill some part of that Skyrim-esque, you know, experience, you know, where it's not like, I mean, you're not doing like God of War style fighting. You're not doing like Spider-Man style fighting, you know, but you're doing like, you're doing the fighting of your choice, you know, and it's okay. You know, in Skyrim, I just went with the fire ability and just kept on shooting fire at people. Then I got like electricity, used that like Senator Palpatine, you know. So that's what I ended up using. I didn't want to go melee because for me in Skyrim, melee was too hard. Whereas in this game, you know, melee is really hard, but it's the only thing you have until you can get out to like the mountain thing that I didn't realize and walk past, and now have to go way back to go so I can get some mana apparently. And I don't know, I hope I get to keep my mana and be able to replenish it with some food or whatnot. But like I said, this is a first review. I'll leave it at that. 20 minutes is kind of long for a review, you know, for day one. But that's my initial thoughts. Check back on the channel in the future, you know, when we keep on playing the game. And I'll have some more thoughts. And over time, I'm sure some thoughts will change. Some thoughts will stay the same, you know. But either way, we'll think them out loud together. But let me know what you think in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe if you're watching this on Twitch in the video section. Comment, follow, subscribe if you want to help support the channel. If you're watching live, last few seconds, last chance to say your piece in the chat there. What you think about this game. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you anything? You know, for me, $40 game, not bad. Pick it up. You know, I don't think you'll hate it, but I don't necessarily think you'll love it, though. I'll leave it at that. But why?
Like, comment, subscribe, and follow if you dare.